Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. It's your host and brother, Hebot. This is another episode of Toys in My Closet, and today we have a special one. A very special one. This is the Mattel Creations Masters of the Universe Masterverse Vikron Deluxe figure set. And oh my God, look at the artwork in this packaging. This is Masters of the Universe at its core. This is how it started, and this is how it should continue going forward for the future. Anytime they make any product, Masters of the Universe. This has Frazetta art written all over it, ladies and gentlemen. This is incredible. Look at this. Holy crap. The artwork in this is absolutely stunning. This is one of his shape and forms, which is the spaceman, which they kind of updated it to make it look like the astronaut suit in Castle Grayskull. You got the spider thing over here. The nice colors and blend of, and looks like water paint. Vikron right there. Looking majestic and badasseria with the skeleton warriors. And then in the bottom, the military soldier with that new face sculpt that looks very much like the face of Point Dread, with the side pistols which look like the side cannons from the original Attack track. And then you got these shadow characters in the back that look like soldiers from the He-Man real life motion picture with Dolph Lundgren and Frank Langella. And there you go, Mattel Creations. This side art is going across all the way around. As you can see there, they look like they're fighting in the middle of dusk, like in a world of Dune. Here's on the side. And then you see a very nice depiction and artwork of Eternia. Look at that. Oh, damn. Beautiful. Look at this. And then these gift things in the bottom. And then you turn it around. New Eternia, original design inspired by classic concepts. And look at that. Look at that. All standing next to each other. Incredible. I have no idea who did this artwork. If it was Iman O'Donoghue, if it was Nate Barch, whoever it was, please forgive me. But I'm going to tell you right now, this is exquisite. The artwork alone is worth the price of admission, and this was a $35 figure, which I think was very fairly priced with the fact that it brings all the accessories to do all three characters. This is absolutely stunning. I don't know how to express it. You got to see it in person. There's no way I could just throw out this box art. And it does open like a flap. And when you open it up in this flap form, you see it has an insert with Vikron there. Really, really nice. And this is just in covering on top. You push that out like so. And you see, and you open it. And when you open it, it's like a whole portrait. You can keep that. But I don't just want this insert because it doesn't have the other two characters. I want the one with all of them. But look at this. Holy ship. Holy ship. This is beautiful. And look at that. Oh, dear God. This is stunning. This is a new interpretation of Palace Eternia. Holy crap. That looks exquisite. If that is the way they're represented in the movie, I think it'll look amazing. Look at how beautiful that looks. Oh my God, with the vegetations and the vines and the different colors. It just looks incredible. So, really fast, as you'll see here, this is the insert. This is what Vikron looks inside. In the box, as you can see, it comes like that with the Vikor actual suit in it. He comes dressed with the Vikor suit. And then all the pieces housed and tied up. And then the little locker case that says Vikron, the ultimate Eternian champion. And you pull that out, and that's what has all of the other pieces inside or housed inside, as you can see. And this is the idea that was designed and created by Roger Sweet when he first came with the interpretation of He-Man, that he would be the one warrior that does it all. That he can be a spaceman, that he can be a barbarian, or that he could be a military soldier with military gear, like a super soldier. And that was the whole idea and concept behind the design of that toy that never came into fruition until Masters of the Universe Classics. And of course, now with this new interpretation of He-Man and the Masters of the Universe multiverse for the new Eternia line and for the Revelations line. And to be quite frank with you, I think it's amazing that Mattel even went out their way to do something like this with the new line and continue it and doing things that were only done like in classics. I think this is going to help the line going forward be healthier and more prominent and people more interested in investing, because it's giving you reasons to want to collect things that perhaps you missed out doing classics. So this is the Roger Sweet idea, and then eventually they end up with the classic He-Man look, which was designed by another gentleman, and I believe that's why there was always been in kind of a turmoil and fighting, because each one of them are claiming that they were the actual original creators of He-Man. So let's sit back, relax, have a digital drink, and let's unbox this and look at it extensively and see if it's worth every penny, or it's worth your time, or if it's just a dud and not worth anything and it's just a fluke. So, like I said, I hope you join me for the rest of the ride, the entire review, and let's have some fun with it, and I hope you enjoy it. So, I'll see you guys really fast, real soon, in a blink of an eye. Alright guys, and here we go. Here is the first form of Vikron, which is basically a barbarian, aka, and he looks very, very good. I'm pleasantly surprised. I'm trying to use the background of the Eternia sculpt, portrait, because it looks absolutely incredible. Let's turn on the light. Boom. And there you have it. There's Vikron. And you see he has that He-Man-esque face with the ruby there, the red, and then he has the top hat metal, helmet with the spike on top, which was a design that was used basically so they could headbutt people and kill them and protect themselves. And you got the harness, and instead of having the H, he has the cross classic with silver on brown with that kind of metallic teal. Then you see coming down here on his loincloth is that nice brown, like a darker brown, very soft, feels real nice but quality, with the gray on the belt with all the details. You see in the arms, very nicely done. No definition, or rather wash on the actual definition, but still looks good. He has a different kind of tone of skin. Then those are the actual, wrist bracers. You see the red ruby, and then you see the H there for He-Man, I believe, right, at the bottom. And it's on both sides, which were part of the original Vikron. Going down towards the thighs and the legs, you see it. It's a matte finish, it's not glossy, which I also like and really appreciate. The boots you see there, they're brown with the white cloth on the top, or paint. And then this is the shin guard here, with that nice gunmetal silver, matte gray finish, with the teal ruby in the middle, as you see there. And in the classics version, all of these things like this were clip-ons. These are actual rubber pieces that are form-fitted to fit in, and they're separate and look really good. And they just, like this one, you see how it has the straps were brown to match with the boots. and they look real good and they're nice and tight. And then this is the actual, you know, what you call it, the actual hair or animal, maybe what do you call it? Maybe animal fur, skin, maybe of a bear or so, going down. That's how it was on the classics, and on the original prototype, it looked like it was supposed to be like actual fur. This is nice and soft and like a nice ivory white. And the classics it's designed, you know, like sculpted, is all plastic. And this one you see that it has that more realistic look and touch to it, because the, you know, multiverse figures have had actual cloth goods, which I think is awesome. I think that's one of the reasons why this line stands out above any other He-Man line previous and before it, right? I think that's what makes this one stands out really well. You see the back again. So, because there's 3 different forms, what I'll do is the actual weapon for Vikron is none other than his axe. And you see it's really nicely done with that gunmetal. And so what you can do is, there's an actual piece here in the back where you can harness that axe, and you just put it right through here, right? And into the harness, like so. And you see it coming out from the back, which makes it look even more badass, more cool, if you ask me. There you go. And then when you turn around, you see him have it right from the back. So that's the first form and shape of Vikron, right? And he looks really, really good. Now let's check out his other and continuously following of next costume. And here we have Vikron with the space suit. And I think this form looks real badass because they kind of gave him the look of, it looks kind of like the suit of the robot Deco inside the Grayskull, right? But at the same time, he also has kind of the Zodak look, right? And again, you can see it looks really, really good. This feels like a separate piece, which I think you can pull out and then just plug into the hole there. That gunmetal shine is really, really nice all throughout the helmet, with the orange outline and then the orange going on the top. Very different than the classics. And then that gray detail in the back, as you can see in the collar. Really, really nice. You see there. Then you see the orange spikes, the pads, that plate in the middle chest. And then here you have the white belt, looking very futuristic and space-like, with straps from the back, which is really great because in the classics version, this strap connected from in here, in this area, and it was a pain in the ass to put on. Then you can see in the back, you have the backpack that he comes with, right? Looking really cool, with the translucent actual wings, as you can see, and this pops out like so, and then you just pop it in and slide it like this, right in, and slide, like push down, and it holds really well. Let me see if I can do it on this side. Hold on. There we go. There we go. It looks really cool with all the details and that translucent gunmetal. And then his wrist and shin guards, because these are a little bit bigger, that nice white with the big orange design. And then in there you see a little bit of sculpting. Same thing like the other side. And then he has a more unique gun that's very reminiscent to the Zodak gun. The only difference, it has this piece down the front and it has gunmetal silver. Painted really well. Now, in the classics, he did bring some orange shin guards, but for some reason, they left that out in this version, I guess, due to cost, because I bought 3 separate ones, and these guys, because I feel like each version of it is a different character, or that's the way I treat it in my collection. And the space version of Vikron, right? You see that they did so many changes and new tooling, even though it was for the accessories and not really the buck. But it's really probably cost efficient. Probably cost them a lot, and that's why they did that and went with that choice and didn't add. That's literally the only thing that's missing from this pack. And in this case with him, you do have some hindrance with the articulation, but you can move it left and right. He can kind of look up a little bit like that, and he can definitely look down a little bit as well, like that. But this is an actual head piece, as you can see, as opposed to, you know, being a piece that goes over the Vikron head like an overlay. In this case, the actual helmet is treated as a separate portrait, as you can see, which means you can actually buy 2 and still get away with it. You don't really need it, because you can just put a different head for this one with a different existing He-Man buck if you want to go the cheaper route instead of getting 3. But, you know, it's up to you. I like to have it more form-fitted, where they all look the same. But I think it looks great. He's really, really cool, and he fits the world, because obviously He-Man has sci-fi elements and barbarian elements, so it all works out really well. So now we'll take a look at the third costume and form. And here we go with the third form of Vikron. And this is basically him having a military style armor ready for battle. And it works really well. And I kind of like that they changed the design of the helmet, as you'll see, because the helmet has two cool things going for it that people may or may not notice right away. But the one for the original toy kind of looked like the cannon that goes on top of a tank, and kind of looked retarded or goofy, because it was based off the reality of our real world, right? Of what the tank design would look like. And then when they did classics, they made it more into like a face that was kind of robotic, with a cannon coming out of the head in the forehead, right in the front area there, which was kind of cool, but a little bit goofy out of all of them, the way it was designed. This one I like because they made it look really, really cool. It looks like, if you notice, like the Point Dread head, like the face of Point Dread, right? Which is something that's familiar in the collection that we know of and we can identify with. So it looks really cool. But if you look at these cannons, not only do the cannons move, as you can see, like so, these cannons are the same design as the cannons. And maybe I can do a little pause here and show it somewhere, or, you know, during the video, if I could take a picture of it, I'll try to show it. But these cannons are the cannons of Attack Track, of the side of Attack Track, the blue ones. As a matter of fact, let me do a quick pause to see if I can put a picture up at this point. Okay, and I'm back. Hopefully you saw what I tried to show you. These cannons here are the Attack Track, as you saw in comparison with the picture that I showed. So, look at the back. It looks very detailed. It has like a fire thing coming out of there, a cannon. And it has the nice gold colored eyes. Then the other cool thing is that in this case, the mouth opens and you can actually see Vikron's face on the inside, which I think is cool when he's in battle. He has these wonderful tabs here on the side for the shoulders that click on and they're separate. They have that green thing there, and on this side you see they clip on there to that piece there. And then he has the man-at-arm style chest vest now with the scars like weathering there and nicks and dents in it like he's been in battle, with the strap that goes around it. And then these were supposed to look like the eyes in the original. As you can see, it kind of looks like another face on the plate, but it really isn't. But I love that they made it look more like the man-at-arms armor, so it could be a little bit more unified to the universe and familiar, and give you that familiarity with the figure's armor. Then these are the plates that go over his forearm and his wrist, and actually the top part of his hands. And you see it has like the kind of like knuckle busters there, you know, that you can punch something and break through it. The nice metallic green, or it looks kind of metallic-y there on the other side. Then you go down to his legs, to his shin guard. He has the clips here, protecting guard on the shins that also strap on, which is what they needed to do for the space version, but with a little simplistic or different changes in the design, and they're orange and white. And then he actually has a cannon in the back where he shoots out this rocket, which is basically the cannon that is actually the backpack from the version of, as you can see, you put these on from the space mode, which is another nice touch because now they added another element that he didn't have before, which is a backpack with a rocket launcher for battle armor, which makes perfect sense, and the colors match perfectly, if you notice, with the cannons. And I'm gonna be honest with you guys. Oh, one more thing. If you notice, this is, like I said, like as you already probably figured out, this is a piece that goes over it, and then that piece there on the top, the little pin, plugs into the head part right there, so it can stay in it instead of being a separate head like the classics. You just push it in like so, right? And it goes over the head like that, and then you can just open it up and stuff like that, and even move it. As you can see, you can move it, but at least it stays firmly in there, as you can see. And I popped out the actual cannon backpack. Sorry about that. So yeah, there is his military form. And again, I think he looks awesome. This is actually my favorite form. Now, we're going to look at the weapon that he brings, which they did change it, and it's this. It's a battle ram that you use in the hands, like the SWAT team used today, modern time, to break down doors. And again, they gave it that point dread head that looks like the point dread, very similar. And you use it as, you know, a hand, or what you call it, yeah, a hand battle ram. You put it on, which kind of changes the dynamic of his military theme, because it makes it also with something that's more barbarian-like. But I know why they did it, because he already has the rocket in the back, plus these classic attack track style cannons, and that's what he looks like with it in his hands. So he can ram down doors on Eternia when people are not listening, right? Or when you need to get to the bad guys, which is really cool. So that's what he looks like with it, which is awesome. And then the backpack, of course. I think he, out of all of them, to be honest, not only stands out as the most interesting, but I think wholeheartedly that Vikron with the military suit is the best looking one and most interesting one of the three variations. So what we're going to do is how does the buck articulate, which is very similar and par for the course, but still I'll give you guys an idea so you can see in case you're curious. So here we go for the articulation. He moves the head left and right, which will vary with the other two heads, as you know. He looks down that much and could look up that much. He does have a little bit of tilt, not quite. Now on the shoulders, his hand goes up just that much. Obviously, you know he can do 180 degrees. He has the bicep swivel. Then he has the double on the elbow, pinless, of course, which is still a new thing for masterverse line. And the wrist swivel, and this one hinges in and out. Now, he has also the torso cut, which is very hidden in this one, but he moves forward that much, which is really good. He hyperextends back that much, which is also pretty good. Better than what you look, and it looks like on camera. He does left and right motion. He has a whole circular motion, which is really good. He does have the waist swivel, which is really good. I tried to see if this one had the drop down, and it doesn't. Not the way that Clam Champ and Web Store and actually Prince Adam also has. I didn't check the Skeletor, the Horde Skeletor, but I'm almost certain he doesn't. But that's a new joint they put in, which is the drop down on the legs. This version is still the same, but nonetheless, like the old buck without it, it still does the full Van Damme, Van Damme He-Man split. And of course, once we bend those in, as you see there, you got the thigh swivel, the double on the knee, which almost hits his boot up, but actual boot. He has a boot cut, and then obviously his foot can go back that much, forward that much, and it has a forward pin rocker and no toe articulation. Now remember, you can kick this up about that high, and you can kick it back about that much. So you can do nice posabilities, but again, as you can see, it's very par for the course with all Masterverse figures so far and bucks. And yes, on the other two costumes and versions, the space and the military, it's the same type of articulation, but with a little bit of limitations because of the bulkiness or the cumbersomeness or the awkwardness of some of the designs for the other two costumes. But it still does and has the same articulation, just so that you guys can know. So let's get a nice shot with all three Vikrons put together side by side. And here we go, guys. Here is the three Vikrons with the three costumes. And again, I'm trying to show you guys not only so that you can see what it looks like, but unfortunately sometimes when people see videos, they don't believe that you tell them the truth. I did pick up three, but as you can see, there's no reason for me to lie. Here they are. I know it's kind of silly, but unfortunately that's just the way this YouTube thing is. Unfortunately, when you're just trying to have something positive and fun, people always got to make it into something negative and ignorant and sometimes quite stupid, to be honest, because that shouldn't matter. So there you have right there all three of them side by side, and I think they look fantastic. The fact that Mattel took the risk and go this route indeed with the Masterverse line just makes you feel like they should just keep going and do other things, like in other figures from Formation, 2000X, and just keep it going, even if they sell it online via Matty Collector or something like Big Bad Toy Store or Entertainment Earth, whichever. the point is, I think this line has so much potential to keep moving. What I would like to see though from them still is a vehicle. It would be nice to see maybe a laser boat, something small, cheap, and that it won't be expensive to produce, and that will complement the figures really well. But for a 7-inch scale, a laser bolt would be nice, because you haven't seen it in any of the other lines since vintage, number one. And number two, I think it would be cost effective. And number three, it would just be nice to get some type of vehicle, and that's kind of a road and very smaller vehicle, and definitely an attack track. Even if it costs $80, I think, or 70, people would not mind getting it in the classic style with the red, or even make a variant where you could have the blue and the red, like they did with the model kits, which I think would be great, a great compliment. Same style of attack track with the two different colors, which was never been done. I think it will be amazing. So yeah, guys, that is what they look like. Maybe I'll bring in some other figures so that you can see what they look like next to each other, and we'll move on from there. So here's another one. Here is Vikron next to classic style Revelations He-Man. I changed the head and put one of the origins, but the point is Viking with Viking, and the two aesthetics from the conceptual art of what it was supposed to be from, when it was originally created by the creator, that he wanted to do, give the options to boys, kind of like the idea of like Barbie, where you could dress her up wherever you wanted to, and however you wanted to. But with a boy's toy, you'll be able to make Vikron either a Viking, a spaceman, or a military man. So it's cool to see the concept art in masterverse form next to the Revelations He-Man, which looks, I think, really cool. But you see even the skin tone color is different. Revelations is more like an orangey beige, as opposed to Vikron's more like a normal skin tone in beige, but with a normal skin tone of a white person or Caucasian, or whatever you want to call it. So that's our first side-by-side. Now we have, the military battle armor next to something more robotic from the He-Man universe as well, which would be Roboto, right? From Revelations. Looking really nice. They complement each other really well. You see Vikron has just slightly a bigger height, but it looks fantastic next to each other. And on the shelf, all displayed really nice. They look really, really incredible. But there you see how they all really complement each other. And being from the same line makes it even more a better suite, right? So now let's take a look at the space version comparison. And so here we have the final comparison, which was basically the Vikron spacesuit style with the New Adventures of He-Man in his New Adventure form, which we all know, right? He's from space. You can take off the helmet and obviously make him more space-like, right? Or unspace-like without his helmet real quick. But what we can do is take a quick pause, and we'll put the harness and so we can see what he look like with his space suit fully armed. And there you have it. There's New Adventures He-Man with his complete space suit, as you can see. Basically, he's another two figures in one. Kind of like Vikron, you can make two different looks, distinct looks, right? With one figure and one buck. But again, it looks awesome, especially next to each other and on a toy shelf. It just looks amazing. So guys, now we'll go to the end of the review and my final thoughts on Vikron and this set exclusive from Mattel Creations. So guys, here, one more thing before we do it real quick. Here's an Origins He-Man figure. And we all know that the Masterverse and Origins are they have that Glio system where they're compatible. So I'm going to show you, in case you're curious, if He-Man is compatible with any of the Vikron accessories. So I'm going to do that right now, and we'll come right back and I'll give you my thoughts. So here we go. I think the big question is, so can you use Vikron's accessories, right? Or different outfits, if you will, on Origins to create Origin versions of Vikron? And the answer is basically yes and no. Yes, because some things do work. No, because some things don't work. For example, you see I was able to put the shin guards, but I was not able to put the wrist bracers. Because the wrist bracers on Origins they're actually, just to show you, they're actually sculpted, so you can't put it on. But you can't put the harness and the face. But then there's another discrepancy, which is the texture of the skin in Vikron's face versus versus Origins, actual body, or the He-Man body. And you can't really match it correctly because of that, unless it's from afar, or if you want to touch it up, it might work. It's not too bad, but not perfect nonetheless. So you can and you can't. Maybe you can get away with it with the other heads and with the one that goes over, like the military one, because it goes over and overlaps on this one, and the other one is the actual swappable head. But again, some pieces work and some pieces don't. So you can use it and maybe create Origins Vikron with maybe a little bit of customization. So I guess that's a plus in itself, because you can put use to those extra costumes or suits that you have, especially if you're like me, that I bought 3 Vikrons. So the cool thing is, that they weren't too expensive. So now let's get to the end of the video and give you my final thoughts for sure. Okay guys, and here we have Vikron on the spinner in all 3 of his forms and all 3 of his costumes. So, does Vikron fit the bill, and is he worth it? The answer is simple. Yes, absolutely. He really is, because not only does he look great, he gives you a good bang for your buck. He gives you great value and a lot of display options with Origins and with Multiverse, which is in and of itself a great deal. This is a Mattel Creations exclusive. You can still buy it there at this moment, or at the moment of me doing this review. I believe it's still available. And it is priced accordingly. I think it's $35.99 or $37.99 for each. I know the total came out to like $104, $109 for all 3 with the shipping and tax. So not too bad, not too shabby, especially for what you're getting. And the fact that Mattel even took the time to go deep in the catalog with masterverse to create something like this, that to this point was really a Roger Sweet concept art that was never done in the original vintage, but was actually done in Capturing Classics as a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive with the classic line. So to see it again in the masterverse aesthetic, I think is really, really cool. And for those of you that probably never got the classics version, I think this is a great option, because these do fit in well with the Origins, with the Mattel Classics line, as well as far as size and scale. So I think they're wonderful. I really do think they're cool, and I think you'll enjoy them yourself once you get them in hand, because they look way better and much, much more cooler in hand than they do in any promotional shot. Obviously, that's always the case in a lot of cases with figures. So guys, give me a thumbs up if you liked the video. Give me a thumbs down if you didn't like the video. Share the video with someone you think might like it. For all of you that continue to give me support all these years and all this time, thank you, because without you, my channel will not be sustained. If you're new to the channel and you like what I'm doing, thank you for stopping by. I really appreciate it. I'm very humble, and I'm glad that you did like it. If you're kind enough to subscribe, I'm very grateful, because the truth is, I know you didn't have to, because it's not mandatory. And, it really means the world to me. And remember, I consider you now part of my family if you did. As always, you guys can find me on any social media platform available out there. It's all down in the description below. Or you guys can check me out or talk to me directly if you guys would ever want to help me out in any way, shape, or form. As you like what I do from the kindness of your heart, or because you want me to grow and do better and bigger things, and you have the means to, and you like what I do, and you want to help the channel, there is a way you can do it. Not mandatory, of course. It's only if you can, if you want to. But I really go a long way for my channel. And that would be with my PayPal information and my Patreon information. Or if you want to make a donation to have me highlight or review something like I'm doing here with this product, I would be more than glad to do so. I would be more than humbled to do so. Just hit me up on one of those social media outlets in DMs or personal messages, which is PMs, and we'll work out the particulars. Well, guys, there you have it. The Masters of the Universe, Mattel Creation, Masterverse, I believe it's New Eternia, Vikron figure, and it's exclusive to Mattel Creations and from Mattel. So that's my review. Those are my thoughts. I'll see you guys real soon in the next one. I'm your host, Hebot, signing off. Until the next episode of Toys in My Closet. Bye-bye, guys, and ciao.